nyame nhyira nyame nyam kese me say o nhyira mu nyinara hwe de mo ayama no eyi ni so ye dwene ho ayente ase Nyankopon onfa mu fra dum nko adum mu se de bia mo share your videos na mo like it nyame nhyira mu ye hu de ebeka mesro se wonya subscribe ya mesro now subscribe na beka busienku no ho ayi na one media fast yanko yenim ene konkwansa Debio that mente microphone put the gossip mic on. Mic is on. All right? Wate kasa yanko. And then the other person say, Paul Adom-Otchere. Also ono otifie kra nani esa wo be foforo. Otifie no nani ene nam Ghana afana nyina. Paul Adom-Otchere na ekon. Na ene say ya any pay kwabena is ku se wan yo. Bidim de din bo Kevin Taylor bagana na oba no odi ne hu siesi wa momo no ho e no wa be hyem ko de na no oni mi se Paul Adom-Otchere so the satellite no enam baby a me se wa chi nipa Kevin Taylor na yes say ayi your friend say court e dey arrest atu no so say hu no so wa basic Ghana kuro mu amanche no Kevin Taylor etimi afro flight aba bedura na so hwan aje Paul Adom-Otchere ya na beboaye wono me se wa kire gate of fire bi of fire bi wa kire a kire security omo bo no ho ban nyinara.
Information reaching us indicate that Mr. Sansadeli again has been flown into Ghana. You have the video of the house and all that. Okay. He's been flown into Ghana. Now, this Sansadeli is the one who brought Miss Sansadeli to Ghana, the fake doctor, who says we shouldn't say she's a criminal. He said we shouldn't say that because no court has said that. She wrote some letters to Metro TV and she's not a criminal or something like that. Okay. Mr. Sansadeli is the one who brought this guy. Now, Sansadeli has been flown into Ghana a while ago. He is reported at the airport when he arrived, and this is what we have been told. We hope it's not true. We just hope it's not true. He arrived as Kevin Taylor. He went through gate 19. Gate 19 at the airport is reserved ordinarily for high-profile diplomats. So President Kufuor is abroad now. When President Kufuor is coming back, he'll go through gate 19. If a high-profile state official travels, say the Honorable Mike Hammer, those who are not maybe inside governments, all of those people, they all go through gate 19. That's the gate reserved for high-profile officials. He was met by national security in gross violation. These national security people. And we are getting this information from people. I mean, in gross violation of a court order of a bench warrant. Ministers may or may not be aware. President may or may not be aware. He has arrived in Ghana in gross violation of a court order. The court order was against contempt of court. He spoke certain things in which the court believed was scandalizing the court. Kweku Baako and Haruna Atta went to prison for saying things that the court thought was scandalizing the court. This guy sits in America, scandalizes the court in the name of politics. A bench warrant is issued. His party is in power. So the state security apparatus, sponsored by the taxpayer, goes to pick the guy who has scandalized one of the most important institutions of democracy, the courts. And they bring him in. You have not even heard the worst. The worst is that they send him. He came by United Airlines, according to the story. United Airlines flight UA996 from Washington, D.C. And he came with an entourage, according to the story. He didn't just come, he came with an entourage. And they are up and they are so the people at the airport don't quite see people on the flight who told us. And guess what? The report is that sent him to Prestige Lake. Go and live in the house that is reserved for the vice president of Ghana. This is the same house that John Dramani Mahama lived in as vice president and even as president. When President Mahama was exiting his presidency in 2016, this is the house that he wrote to Nana Akufo-Addo, and Nana Akufo-Addo agreed that President Mahama can have it. Later on, party hawks prevailed on Akufo-Addo by force that President Mahama cannot have it. And so President Mahama had to relocate and find his own place where he has been living until he was re-elected as president. This house is where Aliu Mahama lived in. It's reserved, it's a cocoa board house that is reserved for the vice president of Ghana. This is the house that has been given to Mr. Sansadeli and his entourage to stay in the official residence of the vice president of Ghana. This guy who just finished SS2, not because he can't pay, but because he can't learn, and sets up a media organization to basically drop down insults on every important Ghanaian. And because he supports and assists the political party, there's no problem with political parties supporting their own. Every political party supports their own. There's no problem. Akufo-Addo supports his own. John Mahama supports his own. Hassan Ayariga, who is in the studio, supports his own. But you cannot support your own by using taxpayers' resources to bring in somebody like that the court has scandalized. Now, he is now worried about the bench warrant. So he has filed an application at the Supreme Court. I've spoken to plenty lawyers last night, and they all gave their perspective about, oh, this is arranged, oh, this one is that, this is that. And some of the lawyers said, no, the Supreme Court will never accept this. In the next 5 minutes, Lawyer Preku will join me and we'll go to the Supreme Court thing that he has filed. We'll tell you about it and he'll give us the dimensions of it. But this is very interesting, and it should be worrisome if it is true that he's staying in the official residence of the Vice President of Ghana. Yesterday, I texted Minister for Defense. He has not responded, Dr. Mani Boama, and asked him certain questions that you are a Catholic priest, Dr. Mani Boama. You are a Catholic priest. You are Minister for Defense. Who wants his child to be like this guy? Who wants his child to grow up and have an insulting tongue like this guy? Who wants his son to be like this guy? Who wants his daughter to be like this guy? And because of politics, you bring him to Ghana. Why, you think NDC will be in power forever? My goodness, even Kwame Nkrumah was not in power forever. Nkrumah was in power from 1951 up to 1966. Calculate how many years. It was not forever. J.J. Rawlings. Today they do June 4th, and Fifi Kwete is angry that NDC didn't participate in the June 4th. The all-powerful J.J. Rawlings, he was in power from 1981 up to year 2000. It ended. How do you do these things? Why do we do these things? Somebody that has insulted everyone, you bring him to Ghana with state money and go and put him in the official residence of the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Jena Nopukwajiman appears to have her own house. She's comfortable with this. She doesn't want to move. So the Vice President's official residence is vacant. This is the same place John Mahama stayed as president. This is the same place Muhammadu Bawumia stayed until 2024. This is the same place that Aliu Mahama stayed. This is the place where a fugitive from justice, against whom there's a bench warrant, is protected by the state apparatus to go and stay. How did we get this information? Because people who are in the state apparatus are unhappy with it. That's how these things leak all the time. People in the state apparatus are unhappy with it. They are grossly unhappy with it. So they are telling us, Charlie, give it to Good Evening Ghana. Oh, this one, give it to Okatechi. Give it to, what is this? What are our people doing? What kind of thing is this? That's the conversation. But why have they brought the guy inside again? Oh, but what is this? If the guy has a cost problem, he should go to court. Why are they doing this? And they say we should send him back out. Yeah, call Good Evening Ghana and give it to him. That's how we get the information. So those who are leading those people, beware. Minister, you are leading them, beware, because they are talking behind your back. And they are thinking that what you are doing is not good. They are talking, they are not MPP people, oh, they are state security people. They are talking behind your back. And they are thinking that this thing you are doing is terrible. Look at, we looked at some of the videos that he has done. Trying hard to get some of them that are okay, so we can show on television, so that those who often don't watch, they'll get a sense of who we are talking about. We struggled and got a little bit that doesn't have profound insults in it, because that is always the style. Profound insults. That's always the style. Have a look at this. Have a look at this one.
Akonya bia te se toilet. Oh, you hine se be di anim na musuomra so ase you se be kansam mampuntumra abrabom. Edian hine na yedi ni saa no. Ah? Edian hine na yedi ni saa no. Wo na wo ma santemai say otufo. Wo na wo say santemai o tom. Ebi o mon kan kire wo. Asantemai say na eyo wo otufo na otufo te wo. Na yesi sebio wo na nanom o mo baaye no. Sa ankwase asem we kom so ankende akonwa kase we enkeda ho. Mo so nsemfo so dodo. Ye bu akonwa nim tia na yesoso nyoma so. Otufo, you have limited power. You have limited power. Asante is nothing. See, 2 million Asante biem. 2 million ni menshia biem. Ni mumpaya wo wiase nyina ye showa masarai. Bebediza when the Corinthians onimdie wo nyina ontumi san ba yare. Ankan Williams. Ono so ne ba no so aboda mo se den osoro na wate chain. We ni kwate fia te se mire. Edidi nkwasi asem on TikTok. Was Ankan William. Wa bompa ye wo wiase nyina de brofo abo ontumi san ba yare. Na mo magyimegyimi ara. Mensa otabo akwatena court a bank board so we wie sika tetram o de nam Ghana. Osoro na wa hye Igbo for curtains.
The guy that they put in the vice president's house to protect him because there's a court bench warrant against him. I mean, I can't understand it. This is the guy. Does anybody want his child to grow up like this? Does anybody watching me want your child? People want their children to be politicians. They are decent politicians. And I was asking the minister in the text. They are very decent people in NDC. Omani Boama is decent. Haruna Idrisu is decent. Muntaka, who is Minister for Interior, is decent. Mahama Yariga, majority leader, decent guy. John Mahama, decent guy. Jenano Pokwa Jemano Panuwasam, university professor, distinguished vice chancellor. These are all important people. Do they want their child to stop talk like this when he grows up? And this guy says these things. As for the video of scandalizing the court, we couldn't show it because the court has already determined that it is contemptuous. So if we show it, we might just be in the same contempt. So we can't show it. But these are the things he said to scandalize the court. A court of appeal judge, sitting as an additional high court judge, looks at the video, issues a bench warrant. For that reason, whenever he comes to Ghana and that his party has come to power, they have to hide him. Now, they don't just hide him, but they give him a 5-star royal treatment and put him in the same house that President Mahama lived in. I guess President Mahama is not aware. Sometimes, these things are done by some of the people below. The bosses are not aware. Sometimes it happens. I've seen it happen before. So I'm guessing that's the modus operandi. And that's why people have asked us to put this out. So that if it's true, the bosses will see and they will call them to order that you can't do that. This is Ghana. This is a 35-year-old democracy. The courts, the legislature, the parliament, and the executive are three important, and the media are important institutions of building the democratic blocks. We cannot have this guy who calls anybody any name and we had 3 hours of looking at videos. This is all we got. That is, even that you saw that we had to allow some horrible things in there. This is all we got. Is that the kind of guy that the government is protecting? Anyway, he's in court. Hassan Ayariga wants to go. I don't want him to go. So, Lawyer Preku, join me now. What is Kevin Taylor asking the Supreme Court to do? So what's the Supreme Court being asked to do?
Okay, so this is an application to invoke the supervisory jurisdiction of the court, pursuant to Article 132. To quash the arrest warrants. Often we call it certiorari. So
to issue to quash?
Yes, the arrest warrants of the High Court. You know, at that time...
Why did the High Court issue an arrest warrant against him?
So at that time, this was the case of Republic versus Bafoboni and others, the NCA case. And Kevin Taylor said on his platform that the judge in the case, that is Justice Chebafo, who is currently at the Court of Appeal, was promoted by the NPP government to do the bidding of the NPP government so that they could prosecute, or he could ensure the prosecution and conviction of Bafoboni and others.
Yeah.
And so this was what came to the notice of the judge, Justice Chebafo, who then issued the arrest warrants for Kevin Taylor to be brought to answer why he should not be committed to prison. And so this is the warrants issued by the courts for the arrest of Kevin Taylor, and it was directed to the police, Ghana Police Service, that's the IGP, the police service, the BNI, and the national security that had the responsibility of taking appropriate steps to ensure that.
So if it is found that since this bench warrant, the guy has been in Ghana, all those who participated in it have also committed contempt.
Contempt of court. Because
and since this arrest warrant was issued, the information that has been in Ghana 3 times. So everyone who participated in it has committed contempt.
Particularly more so when not only was this warrant given, but it was widely publicized. So there was a lot of news, there was a lot of buzz around this issue. And so Kevin Taylor is claiming in his documents that the court should quash. So when we say certiorari is simply asking either the Supreme Court or the High Courts. The High Courts for judicial decisions below, and the Supreme Court for decisions of the High Courts and the Court of Appeal to quash. I want to try and find a simple word, or to nullify.
To nullify,
to totally nullify the effect of a decision, judgment, ruling passed by the lower courts. And there are only 2 courts that have this power: the High Courts and the Supreme Court.
Okay, so his application is going to the Supreme Court because the warrant was issued by a High Court.
A High Court, yes. Okay. It was issued by a Court of Appeal judge sitting as an additional High Court judge. So in that moment, he was vested in in himself the powers of a High Court judge.
Okay.
And so it's essentially a High Court.
So what is he
decision.
asking for now?
So he's asking for these 3 things, right? The grounds of his application are that that the High Court was in breach of the rule of natural justice, to wit, all the alteram partem. Now, what he is saying is that before the arrest warrant was issued, the court should have called him to hear what he had to say before the arrest warrant is issued for him to be arrested and brought to court. For this, there are 2 arguments. One side may argue that, well, the point of the arrest warrant is to procure your attendance, to bring you to court, and then you would justify why you should not be committed. Because an arrest warrant is not a judgment in and of itself. It is not a ruling. It is just to procure your attendance to court by force. Now, the other side would also argue that, well, in any case, when it comes to issues of contempt, the court normally would issue a summons for you first. And then when the court issues the summons, you answer. When you fail to adhere to the summons, then the court issues the arrest warrant. So a classic example is Samia Oku in the 2012 election petition, which was heard in 2013, where the court became aware of these things and then invited him. So the power of contempt of courts can be exercised in 2 forms. One,
there was also Ken Kranche, wasn't there?
Oh yes, there's Ken Kranche, and then the Muntie 3. So it happens. So it may be ex facie curie, which is out of the presence of the court, and in facie curie. In facie curie means it's in the court's presence. So maybe you insult the judge in court, so you throw your hands at a judge in a disrespectful manner, and then ex facie curie is out of court. So something like this, which happened out of court. And then B, the High Court's warrant of apprehension of the body of the applicant was not made in accordance with any procedure sanctioned by law. Yes, and that was what we were saying, that there is no strictly laid down procedure for this. That is one side. The other side may argue that, yes, that's the whole point of contempt. There is no specifically laid down procedure, but that does not mean that people should be given the liberty to scandalize the court. And that is why, even when there was no laid down procedure, it was exercised in Samia Oku, Ken Kranche, Muntie 3. And then 3, the High Court committed an error of law when by its order directed the applicant to be first apprehended before being heard when there was no previous order for the applicant to appear to the High Court. This is repetitive of the first, which was we discussed initially.
So he's asking the Supreme Court to do what? To quash the arrest warrant.
The arrest warrant, which we showed earlier.
So that he doesn't have any question to answer to Cheba for.
Yes.
He doesn't have anything to answer for scandalizing the court.
Scandalizing the court. So
and that he's a free man to walk around.
It may be, you may subsequently summon him, but I mean, that decision is done. So once the arrest warrant is quashed, he's already a free man, but he's legally a free man after the arrest warrant is quashed. But there is something interesting I noticed on the face of the affidavit and then everything. That's the affidavits in support of the motion. So when we say affidavits, an affidavit is simply a document. Many people, our viewers say affidavits, they don't know. When an affidavit is simply a document that you swear to a set of facts. So for instance, I will swear, Kwekwa Prekwe Japan was in Metro on this date at this time.
And Hassan Ayariga was there.
And Hassan Ayariga was there in the studio. So that is what we call an affidavit. Now you notice that an affidavit is supposed to be sworn before a commissioner of oath, a notary public who is a lawyer that can operate as a commissioner of oath. It may also be sworn before a judge and other judicial officers, pursuant to the Oaths Act. You notice here that sworn at Accra this 2nd day of July 2025.
So that on 2nd day of July, he was in Accra.
Exactly.
In violation
in
of the
violation
order.
of the arrest warrant. Now, the position of the law is that any and every order of the court, ruling, judicial decision, judgment, is in effect, even if you have a problem with it, till it is set aside. So till, even if you believe the arrest warrant was false,
So that it subsists, as they say, until it is set aside.
quashed.
So this act of swearing in Accra itself is in violation of the court order.
Yes, because it's presumed that you are in Accra before.
And as soon as you got to Accra, you should have been sent to the court.
you should have been sent to
By
the
the
court.
people who found you in Accra.
Yes, because the arrest warrants, if you notice the bench warrants, the arrest warrants, it exists ad infinitum.
Yeah.
It was not a specific period of time. It is, and
So-
shall lapse the day the said Kevin Taylor expires from the surface of the earth.
So it's there until he asks for the period that Kevin Taylor is alive. This arrest warrant is there.
Exists.
So when he swore, the swearing that he did before
Accra.
and notary
Commissioner of
public,
Youth,
all of that,
yeah.
all of those people who participated have committed contempt.
Oh, that would be a bit of a stretch.
But at least he has
But
violated.
he
it.
has, yes.
So he's
prima facie.
appearing before the Supreme Court, having already violated.
They may ask, I mean, if they are at liberty to ask those questions, that the court may ask the question that, but on the judgment, the order is, the arrest warrant is subsisting, so why have you sworn your affidavit?
What
in
date is
Accra?
this being heard?
So it's 2nd July. Which is
So
the
the
date
date has been given by the Chief
Yes, so
Justice already.
every time a motion, can we go back to the motion, please?
Yeah.
Every time a motion is filed, back to the motion. Every time a motion is filed,
Yeah.
on the surface of the motion, a date is given,
Okay.
a date is given for hearing.
Okay.
So on
So the
22nd
Chief
of
Justice
July,
is going to empanel people to hear this.
Yes.
And this is a matter, is it a matter in equity? Is it a matter in law? Is it a matter of legal
is-
philosophy? Is it protecting the courts? What's going to be the deciding factor in the minds of the judges?
all of them, because the ambit of a certiorari is governed by law in the sense that things like breach of audio alteram partem, which is what they are claiming, that's natural justice. Let's hear the other side. Breach of procedural procedures, a breach of error on the face of the record. But in order to arrive at this decision, the courts may be incensed to make certain decisions based on equitable principles. So it's been based on the equity. He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. All these things. It's a potpourri
So
of
if the
all
courts
these
were
principles.
to rule in his favor, would it mean therefore that this guy who sits in Amsterdam is called Mr. Happiness?
Yeah.
Happiness is in Amsterdam. Can set up and scandalize the courts today. If the court was ruling Kevin Taylor's favor, we can say, oh, the Supreme Court is this, Bafuboni is that, and Justice Kulendi is this, and then a bench warrant is issued. And then he remains in Amsterdam. His party comes to power. He comes to Ghana, goes to the Supreme Court and say, on the authority of this decision, me too, I have come. You have to clean up the bench warrant.
Well,
is that the danger that we may be running?
That's may, but each case is decided on its own merits. And so that's why the court would have to look at the specific procedure, whether Justice J. Balfour should have summoned him to attend court first before the issuance of the warrants. So it is on a case-by-case basis. But I think they may be, the inclination of the court is to protect the sanctity of the judiciary, since you remember, for an attorney general and what Suwa did for Apalu. And
you
so
can
on
always
and
go
so
all the way to Mabry and Madison.
and so on and so forth. And we also have to note that the arrest warrant was issued in 2020, and the application is being brought in 2025.
What does that mean?
According to Rule 61, 62 of CI 16, that is the Supreme Court rules, an application for judicial review, more specifically in this instance, certiorari, ought to be brought within 90 days of the performance of that action, not the knowledge of the performance of that action. So if you are claiming the arrest warrant is what you are challenging or what you want the court to quash, you should have brought it within 90 days of the issuance of the arrest warrant. Now, Kevin Taylor is saying that, well, he only got to be aware, people have been talking to him about it, but he only got specifically to be aware of it this year, and the lawyer procured a copy and served a copy on him. And so, but I have not cited any application by his lawyers for leave to file this. Because once you are out
I hope you're
time,
not giving them a signal and tomorrow they file the leave. Is it too late to file a
oh,
leave?
but you've already filed this.
But they can ask for a supplementary filing.
That means you have to file a leave and then come and withdraw.
Yeah, maybe, because you are telling them something
should
that
come
looks
and-
very useful.
They should come and pay. That's right.
Let's really hope that Justice Bafuboni and the Supreme Court
So we can look at the
will
justices.
deal with this.
Yeah.
Do you have the
Justice
pictures of them? Let's see who this is Justice Bafuboni, who is the most important person in this decision making. Of this person who has scandalized the court, insulted everybody, now brings an application to Supreme Court and says that, oh, Supreme Court, I wasn't served. I've not done anything wrong. So remove it so that when I come, I don't have to go through gate 19. I don't have to dodge people, and I can get a public appointment because I am not under a bench warrant. Justice Bafuboni is the most important person in this decision-making process. On 22nd July, he's going to empanel the court. He may empanel himself. He may not. Who else do we have here? Henrietta Mensah is up there. We don't know who will be empaneled, but these are some of the important, all the Supreme Court judges are very important. But these are some of those who have a public express philosophy that we can tell what their philosophy is. Justice Henrietta Mensah is there as well. Is this Adibu Asiedu? Adibu Asiedu. He's sitting on the Tokonus
yes, committee.
Yeah, so he may not be available for a panel, I guess. And then you have Lovelace Johnson is also there. These are all very, very important judges.
Justice Akabuafo.
Oh, that's Akabuafo. Oh, that's him. Okay. He used to teach at the law school, didn't he?
He still teaches. He taught me ethics and advocacy.
And this is?
This is Justice George Kumsin.
Oh, Justice Kumsin. Used to be at the High Court, yeah.
Yes, commercial division.
Yes.
He was at Cape Coast.
Yeah.
He was a practitioner at Cape Coast and then promoted to...
All of these important... Oh, this is Amadou Tanko, my man. Justice Tanko is a legal philosopher as well. We really will be waiting for the 22nd to see what happens. Who is this?
Yao Jaiwu.
Yao Jaiwu is new, isn't it?
No, you forgot. Yao Jaiwu was... he's not a Mahama
appointee. Oh, he was
already on the bench.
This is my favorite. Justice Yoni Kolendi. They are all going to look at this and make a determination about...
I mean, he may or may not be on
the panel, yes.
Yeah, Jay from
Pong is there. I'm looking for Jamefe. Didn't you have his photograph over there?
Dakwa Asare,
as he appeared before. This is Justice Jamefe. Yeah, Justice Jamefe is very, very senior, and they are all on the bench.
I mean, the others, Hafisa Amaliboba.
Amaliboba, one of the new ones.
Yes.
Let's see what happens. But this is very, very concerning to many people, civil society, legal luminaries, human rights activists, and those who believe that democracy must always be protected in a certain way. Okay, lawyer, thank you very much. I'm going to... Hassan Ayariga says that he occasioned the arrest of the Igbo chief, so I'm going to talk to him about it.